Hey everybody, it's Logan here at the Logan Stover Show. I am excited to welcome today's guest into studio, aka the guest bedroom. Good friend of mine who really needs no introduction, but he's going to get one anyway. Mostly because I know that he's sitting there and he just can't wait to make fun of me. Our first guest has been a friend of mine for a long time. He was actually a groomsman in my wedding. Him and I used to be co-workers. We're Pokemon Go buddies. You name it, we've done it together. He is now a professional wrestler in the OCCW, which stands for Orange County Championship Wrestling. His name is Danny Koons. So, Danny, welcome. Welcome as the first official guest. I wouldn't have anybody else on the show. Hi, Danny.
I don't know if anybody else would be on the show with you there, Logan. Logan is the whitest white man that I've ever met, if you've seen Logan Stover. He does have a black friend. He was able to bring him to the wedding to help offset the enormous whiteness of the rest of the groom's party.
So, of course, as in with any time that we do the show here, we have time before that we talk about things that we're going to have on the show. And we kind of ran through with Danny, hey, we'll go ahead and we'll introduce you. We'll get to know a little bit about you. And Danny said, I want to talk about how white you are. And it was like, no, Danny, let's talk about some of these other things. No, I want to talk about how you're the whitest white person. So I'm glad that you followed through with it.
It is one of the things that I enjoy most about Casa de Logan. It smells like lemon pledge, which is nice. It's a good touch. Also on the refrigerator is a picture of his single black friend, so he can prove that he have him whenever there's company over.
Now, did you expect it to smell like Fabuloso?
I expected nothing less from Mr. Logan. And as we're looking around at his Star Wars and collectibles, you have quite a bit more toys than a grown man typically does. But he's able to trick a woman into marrying him, so there's got to be something about Mr. Logan that the ladies enjoy.
I think that was the sole reason that you came to my wedding and accepted being a groomsman was, number one, the free trip to Pachanga the night before. And then also for proof, you said, I need to see this. I need to see that he's actually marrying a woman. And sure enough, you stayed through the whole thing.
I wanted to make sure it was indeed a woman that Logan had tricked into showing up at the wedding. And I was not disappointed. She seems like a lovely lady. She's tolerated Mr. Logan and his wild ways of staying out past 9:30 and such.
I want to just debate everything that you've said and give you examples to prove you wrong. I can't think of a single one.
There are none.
I keep saying, you know what? And for those of you that don't know, I'm half Cuban, half white. And but to Danny, there it exists none. In his mind, he has written off the entire Cuban side. Thus, the Star Wars toys and Funko Pop toys that are here, and the one black friend. And he's really my friend, Danny. I don't know what you're talking about. We're great friends.
There is a lot of Cuban in Mr. Logan. I've heard him tell Sarah many times that she's got a lot of splaining to do.
Again, not a point that I can refute. So, Danny, let's talk about, because I'm sure you just love to talk about clowning on me. Tell us about OCCW and your character's name. And Danny, how did you go from us sitting on sharing the same cubicle at blank, 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 and blank, which we won't name or promote, but how did you and I go from sharing a cubicle to now you being in contention for a title belt for the OCCCW?
It's a lot of C's that you put in there.
I'm not sure.
Well, I've always wanted to be in wrestling. 16 years old, looking at The Rock, Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I've always had an interest in large and sweaty men, and I wanted to monetize this as soon as possible. I was in the Orange Circle teaching my martial art class, as I'm wont to do, at 55 Plaza Square in the city of Orange. Come on down. I'll be there. Say howdy to you.
Yes, Danny, you can go ahead and plug the studio.
I'm going to plug everything I got, buddy.
as right, man, as I said, I wanted to monetize this. Okay, so how did you come into picking Azrael, your character, who is a vampire or vampire themed? How did that all work?
Well, I myself feel like an older fella compared to the rest of the wrestling roster, most of them being 22, 23 years old. And, as you well know, I'm pretty close to 50 years old.
that is not true.
Not entirely accurate.
Closer to the 30-something.
Okay.
Somewhere around
okay.
there. So out of touch a little bit with the technology and the trends of the new kids. When I used to smoke, we used fire. Logan here is breathing out of some kind of Star Wars contraption. Looks like it fell off a C-3PO. He has to download his tobacco.
So, none of that had anything to do with the question that I had.
As a vampire, being from a time that was different, when people talked more to each other in the face than on the phone, which is different.
More interpersonal communication than digital. Okay.
Okay, so it was a wild time back in those days, and I enjoyed it. I've been a fan of the Civil War. Not that it happened. I wasn't excited about it.
I was going to say that the Civil War did happen.
Yeah, we have a Civil War denier in our studio here.
More of a Civil War historian that I studied, so I understand that. And if you've ever seen the program True Blood, I was quite a fan of that on HBO. Go ahead and lots of nudity. Enjoy with my recommendation. So following through with that, I've also been to a lot of medieval recreations, fighting with sword and shield, armor that was made like by hand, by people. Put that on and fight with it. So most of what I enjoy is over 1,000 years old or better. So I'm going to incorporate this into the character. Most wrestling characters are not so far removed from the person playing the character, as you might notice if you know people. A lot of the political disappointment with some of the fans from OCCW is true. I feel like perhaps that people could have voted going the other way and improved their situation and choose not to for a variety of reasons. So some of my displeasure is legitimate.
Matt, did he even come close to answering?
I'm going to give him points for it.
So incorporating all the characteristics of personality into the wrestling character is important. You want something that's true.
Okay. I'm following you. See, you kind of lost me because when you started talking about like medieval type things, I started picturing you in medieval times, and then I started picturing like what if Danny went to the Renaissance fair, and like Danny, the way he looks. So for those of you that just listen to the audio podcast, I'm sorry. Those of you that are listening to the video version, you're welcome. Just for his looks alone, you will see that is the reason that he was the first guest on the show. I'm sorry, Danny. It's just I started going off into my thoughts of like, well, what would Danny look like in Game of Thrones if he was walking around? So,
good question.
Well, if you look at any of my social media, I've been to the Renaissance Fair, so you don't have to imagine. There's pictures of myself doing various things like that, dressed up in different ways.
Matt, do you you don't have access to Danny's Facebook, do you?
I'm actually looking at it right now. It's public, so I'm going to see if I can find any.
I might not have pictures from the Renaissance Fair, as I think about it. Like the couple years ago, I don't think I have a lot of pictures from Renaissance Fair, but I have been. I do promise.
That's fine.
There you go. Me as a pirate.
Yeah.
There you go. So on top of being a ninja, a vampire, medieval swordsman, also a pirate. So I have a wide variety of interests I try to incorporate in the character that I portray.
And Danny has other interests besides wrestling and things, and I don't want to mention it because we're going to talk about it after this. We're actually going to have a Facebook Live portion where we're going to actually record it live so that we can test it out, number one, because we have no idea what we're doing. Number two, I think it incorporates in something that you would say that, Matt, if when you met Danny for the first time, and you know what we're talking about, would you have imagined that he would be somebody that this would be a hobby that he would partake in?
No. But after knowing him, I entirely see it. So I do have a question for you, though, Danny. How did you come up with the name?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Azrael is the fallen angel, the angel of death. So part of the character, the backstory that I have is as a colonel in the Civil War on the Confederate side of things, more of a religious person, being a minister leading up into the proceedings, then feeling betrayed by God as the South is defeated in the Civil War, bringing down the faith for the person portraying, and then becoming a vampire. There's a dichotomy there between being formerly religious and now not. So being essentially damned no matter what you do, so you might as well do all of the things that you want to do until you get killed.
Who came up with having fire on the side of your pants?
It's actually not fire. If you look close, it is a demon's head with wings.
Who made the fire on your pants?
If you elucha.com, if you are in need of wrestling gear, I recommend taking a look, and they can take care of pretty much whatever you want. You can send them a picture. They'll make you anything you want.
Did you purchase the pants with fire already on them, or did you purchase the fire separately and then put it on the pants?
I rubbed 2 sticks together, and it produced the flames, the fire, and then I encapsulated them in plastic form.
So of which Azrael now can, with his powers that you talked about, can keep the flame alit.
Yes,
for an
I have a wide range
of sadness.
of abilities.
2 questions.
They came on the pants.
I knew they did. I got the website up here. 1999 elucha.com. There's a pair for $29.99. You could have sprung for that.
You know, I wasn't the big spender at the beginning, but now as I becoming closer to becoming the champion and more money is coming to me, I can buy all the pants I want.
Not if Rudy has anything to say about it.
You know, he has a lot to say about it, but it's not going to matter because on June 3rd in American Legion Post 555, I'm going to end his poor little dreams.
Are you going to be able to post the information to our website, or are you okay with us posting a link to our website so that people in the greater Southern California area can come see you take on Rudy on June the 3rd?
Oh, you're more than welcome. I want as big a crowd as possible to see me completely destroy the poor little fool.
The poor little fool. Having a serious conversation with Danny is hard, and this is and for those of you that know Danny and I, this is about as serious as a conversation gets. I'm surprised that it's gone. I have a counter here, Danny, that it's gone 12 minutes and 44 seconds. You think that's a new record for us, that we actually...
Pretty close, unless one of us is trying to sell solar panels to somebody at the time, which we've managed to abandon that as a occupation because we're just going to get all the oil out of the ground in the next 4 years, and to hell with it.
So and Matt knows this because we were talking about it before the show started, is that Danny would never be able to sell solar panels, at least door to door, and his lacking in calf strength would only limit him to door. So
you couldn't get up the stairs.
Yeah, technically you couldn't sell something door to door unless you went to multiple doors, and Danny's calf strength would get him up to a 2% incline townhome. And then he would need the child who's playing in the wagon in the garage to roll him back down to said sidewalk, and then that would be it. But it would just be the one door. So that's why it was more of a phone type adventure.
Gotcha. I was going to say he just made his whole sales quote on one house.
No. If he didn't sell to the kid in the wagon or the person who answered the door, then it was pretty much that was it for the day. Yeah.
See, I needed a personal trainer, somebody who knows about the training of calves, and I was really excited because Logan was reading about that, and he's just going to jump right into that, and kind of gave up on that.
I even passed a test and everything.
I do remember him passing the test. He studied, he looked at the drawing of the calf muscles, but it's more of do as I say and not as I do, because you're looking like you skip leg day there, Logan.
No, it's every single time that I go to the gym, I think of my calf strength. Since I don't go to the gym, it's not a very hard thing to do. Since I don't actually go there, I don't.
That squat rack's not just for your bicep curls, buddy. You got to have the whole building looking at you.
Matt, do you have any other questions for Danny?
No. I just want to say that is a really awesome backstory. So,
And you came up with that,
props
right,
to that
Danny?
one. That's
The whole
awesome.
thing?
Yeah, the character, the idea, the backstory, I came up with all of that. I have a nuanced representation of what I do, so it's a lot of layers to the character that I'm trying to portray. It's more complex than that done feller beat up that other there feller over there, which is like what most people prefer, but I try to keep it a little complex.
And that was my second question that I forgot about was, would your character be what it is now if the South had won?
Who's to say they haven't? With a little bit of persistence. Persistence overcomes resistance. Never give up on your dreams, because eventually you can be in the White House too. You will not be the least qualified person for the job that you are applying for. So by all means, do what you got to do.
So, if anyone ever asked, why were you so excited to have Danny as the first guest on the show, I think we all now understand.
We know now.
Right. One last thing I want to talk about, and we'll go to a break, and then we'll talk about our hobby that Danny and I share, and it's probably the only time that we get along all that well. Danny, do you still have the hat?
I have all of the hats.
No.
Yes, the adventuring hats.
The adventuring
at
hat.
Pechanga that I was wearing.
I
Yes.
want to tell a quick story for Matt, and this is, and if I get any of it wrong, you jump in and you tell me. So we all met out for my wedding in September 2015 out in Temecula. And we picked the end of September 26th because it should have been the coolest time of the year. It was the last weekend before they turned this farm into a pumpkin patch. And so that's why we didn't want it to be hot. Fast forward to September 26, 2015. It's 104 degrees outside. We met out the night before for the rehearsal dinner, and Danny shows up, and he was a little bit late. And we said, Danny, what's wrong? He's like, I had to stop at the gas station.
That's how I talk, exactly.
That's how I stopped at the
I'm
gas
an
station.
old-timey fella.
Well, you said you like old-timey
I was
things.
at the petrol station, pumping my gas. Well, there was nobody there to pump it for me. Where's
So-
Jerome?
So as I noticed that it's Dan, I didn't notice it was him right away because he didn't, little bit different looking. But he has this Crocodile Dundee knockoff hat on. And I was like, what is this? And I was like, come closer. It's Danny. And he's wearing this hat. And I say, Danny, where'd you get that hat? He goes, well, I got it at the gas station for $2. I just saw it there. I was in line waiting to pay for my gas. And I saw it on the rack, so I figured I'd buy it.
Well, if you've seen me, you know I'm prone to the sunburn, and the big wide-brimmed hat is like an umbrella that I need at all times. And I didn't know that their wedding was going to be 12 hours. Who practices for a wedding? You say I do. You say I do. Done. I heard half of the Bible read at this man's wedding.
So the entire weekend, we made Danny wear this hat. So I think there's a picture that I'm gonna post up onto the Facebook page of us walking around Pechanga, all relatively well dressed, minus Jeff, who we won't even get into that story that we couldn't even get into the nightclub because of him wearing sandals and basketball shorts. He was a little bit surprised that
At a wedding rehearsal?
No, well, we went to a casino afterwards
Right.
for the bachelor party, and we wanted to go to a nightclub. And when we walked in, surprisingly, they were going to let Danny in with the hat. But
Well, I looked nice, but Jeff was showing far too much skin there for this nightclub.
so the bouncer is being very, very courteous. At the front said, yes, all of you from here are more than welcome to go in. The gentleman here in the flip-flops and basketball shorts and a T-shirt, I think you know why he is not able to come in. And so we didn't go in the nightclub.
Well, you can't just be walking around showing your ankles. The ankles where the devil lives. That's dirty. That's pornography there, showing your ankles.
So we just proceeded to do laps walking around while the guys drank, and I kind of sat in the back and just watched everybody do their thing, listen to Ollie make racist comments about white people, and I thought, hey, this is pretty fun.
I've never been called a cracker-ass cracker so many times in all my life, I do declare.
Well, to be fair, I think you were the whitest person that he had ever seen.
It was well-deserved, yes.
Yeah. And with the hat. So now whenever I see Danny, I think of where's the hat. And you brought it to the camping trip, right?
Yes.
Yes, you brought it. Okay. So we made it, and we made him bring it to the camping trip. Danny, do you have any questions for us or anything that I feel like this is the end of like a formal interview for a job that we're asking you. Do you have any questions that, you know what? I don't know if I want to ask that question to Danny.
We could save that for another segment.
Do you have questions, Danny? Because you don't have to ask them. Okay, no?
No, I got nothing for you.
I feel like you know college football, right, Matt?
Yeah.
I feel like when Danny gives me a face like that and he looks at me, I feel like I'm literally staring at the Notre Dame Fighting Irish mascot.
Hey, you want to fight about it? There, you commie.
So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. I think we're going to dedicate this whole show to Danny, the whole thing.
It's all him.
We'll take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the hobby that you and I share that will surprise some people, and we'll get set up for Facebook Live so they can watch it too.
Perfect.